Welcome back everyone, and this is my first video for Go Battle League Season 8, and in this video we will be seeing how the recent poison move rebalance is affecting the game with specific reference to how poison jab works. And to test out this move I will be using the XL Alolan Grimer, yes, the Alolan Grimer, and I'm using it in the back as my closer. So if you have a Pokemon in the back, you have to think about what it is weak to and put something in the front that will cover those weaknesses, which is why I have Azumarill in the front running Ice Beam and not Play Rough Hydro Pump, because all the ground types are going to be strong against Grimer, Stunfisk, Swampert, Bastiodon, Diggersby. You want to have all of those covered, and the Ice Beam Hydro Pump moveset covers those better than the Play Rough. And as my save swap, Galvantula, the idea with that is if I swap in Galvantula, it will draw out any of the Stunfisks or Swamperts or Bastiodons or Diggersbys that they are in the back. And even if I don't win that matchup, I can just debuff them with Lunge, and Azumarill can come back in and farm down a lot of energy on them. And that leaves Grimer free to roam in the back afterwards. Unless they're running like Stunfisk or Bastiodon, double ground in the back or something like that, but that's not too common. So look on the right there, I put up all the IVs, and you will see the PV Poke rankings afterwards on the right, and on the left I have all of the movesets for each Pokemon. So a little disclaimer about this team. First of all, let me talk about what it's really weak to, and it is really weak to poison in general. At the time using this team in the first day of Go Battle League and going into the first half of the second day, I really was not seeing much poison users, especially in the front, which is where they would cause the most problems against that Azumarill. So it all depends on what you're seeing. If you aren't seeing much poison leads, then yeah, this could be a very good team to use. If you are seeing poison leads, you definitely not want to run Azumarill in the front, especially with Grimer and Galvantula in the back. They don't really cover or provide adequate protection against those poison users. And let's look at the poison jab buff itself. Poison jab was only buffed by 1 point. I was really hoping it would be buffed up to 8 from 6, but it's up to just 7 attack now, which is really better than nothing. But I was really hoping it would be on par with fast moves like Counter. That would have been really good for poison jab users, but we take what we get. So let's look at how Alolan Grimer functions and poison jab functions in actual practice here. Taking out this Skarmory with no problem, not much of a problem. Grimer does have reasonable bulk and attack on it being an XL Pokemon, I must say. So let's go the Azumarill Mirror. I do count the Azumarill Mirror as an unfavorable matchup, and I switch out immediately because of the moveset I'm running on my Azumarill. They bring out their Marowak, and usually what you do in this situation is you just try to get in at least one discharge to bring it down to a farmable HP level, so that when your Galvantula does go down, it will go down eventually to these fire fast moves. When it does go down, your Azumarill can come back in and farm. And that right there, that amount of HP on the Marowak is perfect farming distance for my Azumarill. I will have to tank one Shadow Bone here, but that's okay. XL Azumarill is very tanky. And they bring in a Razor Leaf user, and why I don't switch out immediately is my Azumarill basically at this point is not very useful because there's an Azumarill in the back and a Razor Leaf user, and Grimer, being a poison type, is effective against both of them. So I know my Grimer is going to have to do the bulk of the work here, so I save my shields for it, successfully shielding that Sand Tomb, which would have done super effective damage. And back comes in, down goes the Torterra, and back comes in the Azumarill. Fortunately, this is a good matchup for the Grimer, and you see how much that Sludge Bomb did. A lot of damage, and my Azumarill can now come back in and finish off the job. Or the Torterra's not, the Marowak is still alive, but both of those Pokemon are very low on HP and I have energy saved up. Game is mine, good game. Let's go into the third match here and see what lead we get. I put mainly the worst leads in this video here. All my matches with the worst leads to show you how well this team can do. Against Galvantula. Galvantula, horrible lead. I don't really have a very hard counter for Galvantula, so I go into the mirror immediately. And once I can just debuff this Galvantula a bit, it could be good. I can then bring in my Grimer and put in some work on it and get some energy saved. Let's see what they do here. They do give me one of their shields and I do get to another launch. Very good position for me because I still have both of my shields and they give me their second shield. My Grimer is going to go to town right now on the Galvantula here. Poison Jab is not resisted because Galvantula is not part poison. They bring in the Scrafty and I can simply switch into my Azumarill, which does not need any shields for Scrafty because it just runs Power Up Punch and Foul Play. So I have 2 shields. So this game is basically mine. I control how this game goes right now. I do want to come out of this with some energy saved up though, so I undercharge the Hydro Pump to great, and it gives me a little more energy to farm down here on the Scrafty. Like I said, their charge moves will not do me anything, so I do have an Ice Beam saved up, and it is another Azumarill. Very good. So once I preserve health on this Grimer and farm down all my energy on this Galvantula, I have 2 Sludge Bombs ready to go. Basically, the game is mine now. Azumarill will go down to these 2 Sludge Bombs. It does about half of an Azumarill's HP in damage, which is impressive. Very impressive. So let's go into this other match here. Azumarill facing a fire type, which is an advantageous matchup. However, you have to be careful for Solar Beam. This Kanto Ninetales runs Solar Beam, and it's pretty obvious when someone's going to use it. So they're most likely going to get the shield out of me. I didn't go straight for the Hydro Pump here. I thought I may have gotten one of their shields, but I have to use a shield here, and at this point the best thing for me to do is to just farm down as much energy as possible. This is just going to be a Weather Ball. I need to come out of this with a lot of energy saved up because I want to get back that shield from them and put them on an even playing ground. So interestingly enough, they bring in an Umbreon against my Azumarill. It must mean whatever else they have in the back is really weak to Azumarill as well. Perhaps a Double Dark a strategy. Let's see. So at this point I feel safe enough to switch in my Galvantula, seeing that they probably have 2 dark types in the they have another dark type in the back waiting, which both my Grimer and my Galvantula can handle. Surprisingly, it's a Hypno. They really should have brought out the Hypno against my Azumarill. I'm not sure why they did that. But both Grimer and Galvantula do super effective against Psychic. Galvantula with the Lunge Bug type damage, and Grimer with the Crunch Dark type damage. And Crunch is a very good dark charge move. Grimer really has a really good move set. Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb, and Crunch. Poison Jab charges up those moves pretty well enough, and they give you good damage per energy. So back with the Umbreon here, and it's going to go down without a problem at all. So like I said, without much poison types in the meta, depending on what you see, this team will do reasonably well for you. In this match here, we go up against a horrible lead of Venusaur, but my 2 back Pokemon do really good against Venusaur, switching to the Galvantula, and this draws out the Marowak. So like I said, we just try to do as much damage as we can. They do not shield the discharge, which puts me in a good position to probably win switch advantage. If I just shield up here, I can probably full switch them down. And 100% sure they're going to shield their second one. They don't want to give up switch, so I just debuff them. And I can probably survive whatever they have to dish out here. Yes, I do barely. And I'm going to have to use my charge move there to win the switch. The worst that can happen is they give up their last shield, but they don't. I do win the switch. And now my Grimer can line up with the Venusaur, doing super effective damage. Well, not super effective, but heavy neutral damage with that poison jab. And it doesn't have to meet this Stunfisk, fortunately, which is running Metal Claw, I think. So this is a good matchup for my Azumarill. I can tank 2 Earthquakes from this Stunfisk. So there's no need for me to go straight Hydro Pump. Unfortunately, I did not get their last shield there. Good call by them, but the Stunfisk is still going to go down. Yeah, they're probably not going to shield this and bring in their Venusaur. Yeah, their Venusaur is their play here to try and take out both of my Pokemon. But I still have a shield, and Grimer can tank at least 1 Frenzy Plant, being part poison. It's going to resist grass. And I have almost 2 crunches ready to go. They're not going to reach another Frenzy Plant before I reach to my second crunch, which is going to take them out. No problem at all. And there we go, that was a good game. So generally, my thoughts on the poison jab buff and performance in general, I'm really not too impressed with it. Like I said, I was really hoping it got to 8 points of damage instead of just 7. I think the buff it's gotten really wasn't enough to put these poison types in what we can call main meta, or the best Pokemon to use to get consistent results. I mean, in favorable conditions, the poison jab buff will do a lot to help you win matches, but my experience with this team was it did not give me consistent results. It gave me a few 5-0s, yes, but I also got some 1-4s and 2-3s. And I've also tried other Pokemon with the buff, like Shadow Skuntank and Shadow Nidoqueen. And yes, while we have been seeing a lot of YouTubers putting up videos on Nidoqueen, Skuntank, and all of those Pokemon that got poison buffs, from my experience, I would say don't use them if you want consistent results. They can give you good results, but if you really want consistent results, go with the established meta. The poison move rebalance to me really was not enough to bring these Pokemon up to where they deserve to be. But at least now you can use some of these Pokemon as spice picks, like the Tentacruel, Nidoqueen, Skuntank, and this one here, the Alolan Grimer, as nice spice picks you can use to have fun with. But treat them as that, not as main meta. So let's get into this match here. I'm successfully able to line back up my Azumarill with the Pelipper here, and it was very important that I shield that Hurricane, because Pelipper can actually beat Azumarill. It's ridiculous if it gets a Hurricane in. So having correctly shielded that Hurricane, I can now take the match by farming down and using this Ice Beam here. So thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and see you soon for more videos.